Live from inside Porsche, Colorado Springs, it's the First Dibs podcast with our hosts, John Deisty and Justin Underwood. Buckle up and let's go for a ride.
Look at that. I did it all by myself.
Nice. Good job.
Thanks.
You've done this once or twice.
Yeah, 237 times, I guess.
Crazy number.
Plus a couple after-hour episodes that will never be published.
Right. After dark.
What do we call it?
I think it's after dark.
Is it? Something like that.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everyone. It is Friday night, March 6th.
Something like that, yeah.
And it's the 20th anniversary of the store that inspired this podcast.
Yeah. That says a lot.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Yeah. So 20 years of Porsche Colorado Springs. Pretty awesome. They've got a little shindig going on.
A little gathering, yeah.
And I'm excited to hear about that. I think they had some special guests attending virtually to say some words. And just cool to be part of, an organization that's kind of done that. And I think been a really unique place in the world of dealerships and Porsche. So I feel very lucky to be a part of it. It makes me happy to, contribute to something that's been around, and hopefully I'll be here for the foreseeable future to help bring more to the game.
It's a pretty good dynamic, really. I think how we operate and how the owner decides he wants his dealership run is, within the Porsche mindset, but it's so unique. And I think our clientele, friends and family, what have you, really understand that.
It almost feels to me like the tail wagging the dog, like a little bit of the things that Don and Joe have implemented have helped steer the course of the Porsche globally.
100%. Yeah, there's always influence. It starts out kind of in the small places, right? At the dealership level, and then when you get recognized continually by the corporate mindset, things do change, and it's interesting how it progresses for sure. And 20 years is massive for a single owner.
That's what it's to be a single spot.
Yep.
And to be owned by the same guy.
Yeah.
For the run, that seems like, I don't know dealerships. I've only been doing this for 8 years.
Yeah, they change a lot.
That seems pretty cool and unique. Anyway, a lot of you know Jason. For those of you that don't, this is Jason Schmitt.
Yep.
He's one of my favorite people here at the dealership. Awesome technician, and has been a super big help to me on the sales side. He helps kind of front our hill climb effort every year, supports some customer teams on that side of stuff too. I like to joke that he can work on kind of anything from like a pre-war Bentley to the newest stuff, which is super fun. And just excited to chat a little bit. We teased last week that he was out helping our buddy Jeff Zwart run at the F.A.T. ice race up in Montana. So I think I'd like to hear a little bit about that, and then who knows where the conversation will go.
Sure.
So F.A.T. ice race, driving awesome cars.
Yeah.
In slush.
Super expensive cars, like exotics, not just like, sports cars, which are great, but like Paganis and, your Ferrari Enzo. You name it. There was a lot of really high end cars and a lot of custom.
They kind of crunched that thing, didn't they?
Had some nose damage on it. Yep. No big deal. It's all in good fun. But F.A.T. ice race is not so much about the competition and racing on ice. That's just the fun. And there were 4 different competitive classes in it where we put transponders on the car and actually got times and gave out trophies for that. But it's really a gathering of enthusiasts, and not necessarily Porsche enthusiasts, because it's not limited to only Porsches, although majority of the cars were.
One of the main people is F.A.T. Porsche that set this up, and he is the great great grandson of the guy that designed that.
Correct.
Somewhere in there.
Yep. So he brought it back. I guess the backstory is, in Austria, they always had the ice race in the winter. And They didn't do it for quite a few years, and I'm probably not getting all the details right, but there was a fatality where it wasn't during the event, but it was like preparation for the event, like a ice grooming truck or something fell through the ice, and the gentleman died. And because of that, it kind of got a sour feeling.
Yeah, that's
for
awful.
the town.
Yeah, you don't want to be involved with that.
So as far as my recollection or recommendation or whatnot, they didn't have it for a lot of years. So F.A.T brought it back as the GP ice race for a year or two, and then decided to rebrand it and rename it. And everybody goes, well, what does F.A.T International stand for? And it's kind of a catchy name or slogan that was used by a transport company back in the 60s and 70s in racing, logistics company. But the logo was cool, to say it is kind of cool. So it was available, and he rebranded it and used it for the ice racing now. So
some people
pick your name and
just run with it,
and continue something. The logo is almost the same as it was back then, so it's synonymous in Porsche racing. You see a lot of the old classic Porsche cars, and it says F.A.T on them.
Okay,
and so it kind of carried over into a new use.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
So in Zellum C, I think is that Austria?
It is.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't know my geography.
Yep.
But so that's where things started. They ran it a couple years there. Then last year, they did kind of a trial run in Aspen.
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, already. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. Yep. So they did a trial run. There was a whole bunch of logistics and licensing and whatnot through the town where they had to move it last minute, and because of that, they couldn't sell as many tickets as they wanted, because it's all about spectators and providing a show, right? They have sky jump competitions, and skydivers and airplanes fly over, and tons of helicopters all over the place. I mean, it's a high dollar thing for sure. But it's super cool because you don't see that on your daily basis.
Yeah.
It's a huge festival on ice, and so the event this year, the course itself is not gigantic. I mean, it's not like on a big lake or anything like that. So it's kind of a small confined course.
Under a mile long.
Oh yeah, I mean
that's what it looked like to me.
Much
right?
under a mile. Yeah. The average lap time for a fast car was in like the 34, 35 seconds.
Okay.
So pretty short.
Yep.
And rough, and conditions were interesting for sure, but a great spectacle, and something that if you like, going out in the elements, which it wasn't cold enough, so it was
Sure.
like not parka weather, it was almost t-shirt weather.
Yep.
And see a great festival on ice, and vendors and all sorts of people just enjoying, and some of it's kind of over the top, right? So you can dress up, put on your furs and your cowboy hat, and just dress the part and have fun. But it's all about the car culture, right? So it's a car show in cold weather that you happen to drive around the course.
So tell me about some of the cars that were there.
Yeah, so a pretty good mix of cars. A lot of old classic Porsches, kind of the safari builds, with spike tires for racing.
Lee Keen was there, I think, right?
Lee was there, and a bunch of the cars that they developed were also there. And they actually perform really well on the ice because medium amount of horsepower, fairly light, mostly all rear-wheel drive, right? Obviously, because the old 911. But just a good package, good handling dynamic, narrow tire from the get-go, really, on those cars. The wider the tire, the more it's going to plane, and the less grip you're going to have. So it's kind of counterintuitive to when you're running on like a tarmac or a road course where you want as much grip and as much width as possible. You want a tire as narrow and as spiky, really, as you can have in order to grip and dig down in. Yeah,
I always remember everybody knows I like old Volvos because I think they're awesome. But those always had the skinniest, 155 profile tires. They're, that big, but that was intentional because a lot of their season is cold weather and slush and snow, and that cuts through and lets you drive.
Right. It gives you some amount of traction for sure. Now, if you had an Enzo with a
325 rear,
12-inch wide tire that's just going to float until you sink down in the slush. Well, it's a different ballgame. It's still, it's still a really good time. And you and I had talked, who should really go to this event? I think if you can get a ticket, everybody should go. I mean, it's not overly far away. It's kind of centralized. Montana's really close. Ultimately, it's a couple hour flight for most people. and it was really good. I enjoyed it for sure.
It felt like even more than buying a ticket to see this stuff, it was like you were buying a ticket to hang out with the people that you watch on TV.
Yeah.
Like there were a lot of like Don Toliver, big rapper.
Yeah.
He was there with the Dakar.
Yep.
That thing was sick.
Yep.
I think that one came through our store.
It may have, right?
Yeah. The Chris Harris was there driving, I think, the Singer DLS Turbo.
Yep. Tons of big names that everybody in the industry knows. Yeah.
And that to me, that's part of why I really enjoy being able to go to the Quail. Is just, meeting your heroes.
Sure.
And they're brief interactions and stuff like that. But it's really fun to kind of see the person that you're watching week after week, the Gordon Murrays of the world. Yeah. And here it's the same thing. And it's, I think to me, it felt just looking from, through a computer screen, it felt a lot like Pikes Peak. Where you could touch the cars.
Yeah, kind of like when you're down in the pits, on race day for sure. Yeah, you're in the environment. You're not limited or excluded behind a fence or anything. You're really part of the action.
Yeah, and that's so cool to me.
Yeah.
I got to go to the Indianapolis F1 race in 2005, and we got paddock passes, and they were warming up the Renault on the other side of just a retractable barrier.
Sure.
Fernando Alonso came out and signed autographs.
Sure.
That's not going to happen today.
Yeah.
Which is great for the sport. And
in something like Formula One, that's not going to happen so much. Right.
Exactly. Yeah. And so to have these other events where names that are, as big-ish.
Oh, yeah, very much.
Are just there and hanging out, and you can chat with them.
They're just in the crowd, and when they're not running a car or behind the microphone or doing whatever, they've just got their coat on and they're hanging out next to you, chatting about whatever you want. Yeah. Yeah. So it's super cool.
That to me would be worth the price of admission.
Yeah, 100%.
Even if the cars weren't running.
Right.
I bet the smells and sounds are pretty great too. But
they are. Yeah. I mean, race fuel, in a winter-ish climate. Yeah, it's super good. And there was a bunch of vendor trucks, food was great. The VIP area was massive this year. Everybody loved it. There was helicopters taking off and landing, every hour or so, call it. The giant inflatable 911, the big blue 911.
I saw that thing.
That thing is huge.
That looked huge.
It's super cool.
Yeah.
Yep. So that was out there. I think just overall, it was a really good event. My takeaway wasn't anything that I would change, really. Maybe how you got into and out of the area where everything was operated was a little congested.
Yep. Did you guys drive in, or do you have to shuttle?
Both. Yeah. So when we got there Thursday. We got there Wednesday night. We set up everything Thursday morning, and we had a few other things we had to do. We did shooting offsite as well. So like with Optima, who was one of the primary sponsors, we went on this snow-packed upper road with like a pre-runner truck and Jeff's 997 GT3 Cup.
That's his Colorado Hill Climb Championship
it is,
car.
Yeah. And the great thing about running on dirt versus running on ice in rally is it's going to be rough. Your alignment settings are going to be a little bit less than if you were like on a GT course. So you can pretty much put spiked studs or studded tires on a car that we run in CHCA and not have to change the setup at all and still have, good handling characteristics. But yeah, so Thursday we did a whole bunch of stuff. We set up the paddock or the pits, and then we did some offsite shooting for quite a while. And the interesting thing is, where they host it, which is Big Sky, it's way above the Big Sky Resort, like 20 minutes up this windy road, which in the summertime is a golf course, but it's up in the mountains. Okay. Right. So you wind way up, and then you go down in this basin. It's Moonlight Basin. And that's where the course is set up and all the buildings are set up. But to and fro, there's construction area going on. They're building some stuff. And there's shuttles. There's, Sprinter van shuttles or full-size diesel buses that they were putting people in and on. And that's how you kind of had to get to and from when it was during operational hours, right? There were so many people everywhere that you had to shuttle them. Parking was not really an issue because there was parking lots kind of far away that everybody be shuttled from. But the big thing is the temperatures were so warm, right? There was adequate snow because it's in a ski resort area. People were skiing all the time, so there's enough base and enough powder. But it was like 52 degrees in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So the ice conditions would turn to slush. You would dig through the ice because the layer was only so thick down into like a snowpack or down into the dirt, even in some places. That, confining the dirt or the mud outside of where we were operating to try to keep the snow and the ice clean, they were having to like steam clean all the wheels of all the vehicles coming and going, or they just wouldn't let you down in. So it was
interesting.
It was all foot traffic.
Yeah.
So if you got there early like we did, we drove all the way down pretty much, unloaded, got the truck back up to where we needed to stage it, and then kind of left the car down below aside from that one off-site. But everything else, like if you needed gear or needed tires, you're probably going to be putting them on a side-by-side, and then stopping at the check station and then taking a dirty one out into the roads to get up to the garage or the parking area where everything else was staged.
That's an interesting logistical thing that it's probably pretty good they learned.
Yeah. And it was difficult for the, everybody who was organizing for sure, so some patience were tested, but I think if they have in the next year or so, because I think they have a 3-year contract. I could be wrong in the same location.
I remember hearing something like that. Yeah. Where they've actually installed some infrastructure that's going to stay.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. So if you can come in and maybe go out a different direction, or the competitors can maybe go in a different place than all the spectators, I think you'd be a lot better off.
What they need is a car wash sponsor that washes every car as it's pulling in.
Definitely could. Yeah. Because they had 2 guys with like steam cannons.
Yeah.
Doing all the suspension, all the wheels, all the brakes, and trying to get them as clean as possible so that we didn't take mud down into the area, which it worked okay.
It almost feels to me like they need to do like an indoor ice arena type thing where they lay, glycol or whatever it is to just super freeze the surface for the race and just Zamboni it up. Yeah,
you probably could, but being outdoors is really key to how everything's run.
Well, no, I think you need to do that, but it's outdoor. It's not an indoor rink. It's just the indoor rink technology outside.
They brought in something like 28 truckloads of water all night long, and it was freezing. It was like 18 degrees overnight. But it was this endless, constant application of water. Yeah. And try to get it to freeze hard is one thing.
Yep.
Luckily, the humidity was low, so everything settled pretty well and kind of hardened up. But they were working like 24 hours straight on the course, and then also trying to groom all the snow around it for the cars to be staged on, for the show cars, and in front of the paddock. So it was constantly an issue.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. A lot of maintenance.
That is one. Just I can't think of how many logistical challenges there would be to do that.
Yeah,
and that's pretty awesome.
It came off well. So everybody who came to spectate was just over the moon. Like, this is amazing. Yeah. We'll come back. We love everything about it. This is super cool. Which was great.
Yep. Yeah, I haven't heard any
nothing negative
either.
Yeah, sure.
That's super impressive because the people that can go to that kind of stuff. It's, how do I say it? It's people like me, but more well off. Like I'm
you might think that,
but I'm picky about shit.
Sure,
that's what I mean.
Sure.
Like if you're serving me crap, soggy fries, and microwaved barbecue pulled pork on a hot dog bun, that's lame.
Right.
Like I paid how much for this ticket, and now I'm paying
cheap. Yeah.
$20 for this pulled pork hot dog sludge.
Right.
Like, come on. And I would complain about that.
So there was 2 sides of that, right? So they did have food trucks, right? So you can go pick whatever you want.
What a great way to do it.
But then the VIP setup, which highly advised just getting a VIP ticket, had a really good selection of food. Yeah, for sure. Nobody complained about
those were like $3,000, weren't they, for the weekend?
28 or 3. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. And everybody was like, oh yeah, totally worth it. The interesting thing is the amount of people that were locals that came up. There was a good number. Like it wasn't all, I live the Porsche lifestyle. I'm affluent or whatever, and I'm taking a ski vacation and I'm going to go to a car show. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't like that. It was a good mix of locals and people who are in the area that are, working in the ski industry or whatever, or down in the town, which is down below the resort quite a ways. We had to have a set of tires mounted midday Friday. So I loaded up the truck with the tires, went into town, and there's one tire shop that are like, no problem at all. And they were prepping a bunch of other cars for the events. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh yeah, we'll be there tomorrow. See you guys. It's going to be great. So there was a lot of locals.
That's cool.
Yeah. Just a really good mix. And then there was, so many of our clients that walked up and they're like, hey, great to see you. And we're like, oh yeah, well, I would expect you to be here and vice versa. Mm-hmm. And people that we've raced with on Pikes Peak or former competitors that haven't done it for years that have moved on to different types of racing, they were all there. The amount of people that are Porsche technicians. There was a gentleman from Beaverton that came up and we were just chatting and I told him my background and he's also a technician. We talked, his wife and I talked for an hour just about dynamics within the organization at, in the after sales kind of side of things and the sales side of things. And then how you can take your passion for something kind of outside of that, which motorsport ties in, but it's very much an outside thing that you have to focus on and dedicate a lot of time to, and how you can, turn your career into enjoying something like that as well. So there were so many good conversations. I mean, we were running a car in a competitive class, and we were talking to spectators and fellow competitors more than we're actually running the car. Yep. I mean, it was a big.
It was like 4 or 5 runs, something like that.
So you go do a warm-up lap and then do 2 time laps, and that was it.
Yep.
And there were 2 cars on course at a time, and if the car ahead inhibited the second car's run whatsoever, the second car could reattempt to reset his time. Mm-hmm. And so like Friday, which was day 1, we had to conserve the ice conditions because it was just so warm that if we were going to run all afternoon, there wouldn't be anything left for Saturday. Mm-hmm. So we kind of limited that to 1 competitive session in the morning. And then we did a shootout in the afternoon, which was the top 3 fastest in class competed against each other for the trophies for Friday. And then Saturday, it didn't really matter if we used up the ice. Mm-hmm. So we pretty much raced on it all day long to the point where the sun went down and competition was over and everybody was just chewing up the ice with their 800,000 horsepower, trucks. But
cool.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a good time. And the mix of very unique cars, a lot of bespoke cars that are Porsche based primarily. You're never going to see those really anywhere else unless you go to, like what we were talking about earlier, like Quail or, something like that.
And I feel like, seeing cars run is different than seeing them static.
Oh yeah, very much.
Pebble and Quail are both static events. The Monterey Historics, where we got to see these, historic race cars and, some supercars and stuff like that run. Yeah. It's just different. And maybe you can't get up as close to the cars. And maybe they're not staged as beautifully because they're in like pits.
Right. They're designed for function. Yeah. Yeah. There's equipment that supports.
But man, is that cool.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Speaking of that, so there was a couple cars that run the Colorado Grand that were up there. There was an old Alpha that was just epically cool. And there was a big bodied old Bugatti that was running as well. And just
that's
awesome. Old super classic stuff that, you don't typically get to see unless you're a really good enthusiast or you do what we do where we take part in events that are outside of the dealership. But yeah, it was interesting to see it from my standpoint, and then really interesting to see how other people who don't live the lifestyle that we do get to enjoy it and interact with it.
Yeah, it's fun to bring it out to show it. I feel like when people come in here, I get to see these cars through new eyes again.
Exactly.
And that's really fun and kind of invigorating.
Yeah.
Just to be like, yeah, it's another GT3.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah, I saw 20 of them
Whoa,
already.
you're right.
Yeah,
Holy.
Yeah. Or somebody asks you a question that you haven't been asked before, and you have to think about it for a minute. And you might, you might know the answer, but it's intriguing for sure.
That's cool. Yeah. Hear how people think about what we do.
Right.
That's fun.
And I think with that event, it's different enough that it's just a new environment. I mean, that's not a common thing to take a bunch of supercars or sports cars and go ice race. So the environment's different, and everything because of that, which it's built on, is different, right?
Do you worry about like post prep at all? Like, it's not like you're racing on salt water where you'd have to acid dip the car to get everything out of it.
Yeah.
Is there much, when I was at Dirtfish, after the morning session, they put the cars up on a lift and washed them top to bottom and out. This doesn't seem like it'd be quite that bad.
No, I think the cars came off cleaner than when they went on.
Sure.
Ultimately.
Okay.
And unless you tore some parts off, which some people did for sure, or kind of collected a bunch of snow and it packed up in something, you're probably not going to have to do much aside from make sure there's not any standing water anywhere.
Okay.
Post prep with like tools though, absolutely, because they're prone to moisture issues. But I think the cars held up pretty well.
Are pretty happy.
Yeah. Cool. They're kind of designed to operate in climate that.
Yeah, they're cars.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Cars drive in the rain and the snow.
Right.
Yeah.
So are you gonna have rust buildup or deposits or have to lubricate something after the point? Probably, but not so much.
Cool. Yeah. 2 cars that you would take home: a race car and a street car. What were kind of among your favorites
from
the event?
From F.A.T.
Yep.
That's kind of a hard one.
Okay. Just pick.
There wasn't anything that stood out that I was like, oh, that's super cool. I've never been around one of those before, because they were all neat. A Pagani Zonda.
Yep.
If you're going to pick the big silly high dollar car that you barely ever get to see any of, that would be the supercar to pick, I guess.
Yeah.
And then maybe like the Bugatti, something 30s ish.
That seems pretty awesome to me.
Big heavy iron, blacksmithing and not so much technology. Something like that.
Okay.
I think.
Cool.
Yeah.
We have a question. It's not about ice racing.
Sure.
Mitch is asking, is a $5,000 non-refundable deposit on a CPO car wild? I think yes. I think, in my eyes, a deposit doesn't do anything for me. I'm not here to take deposits.
Sure.
I'm here to sell you a car.
Right.
And if I'm telling you that a deposit is non-refundable, what does that say about what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to sell you this car. If I take $5,000 from you, you come and look at it and you realize that I told you it's a 4-cam, but in the back is a pushrod motor.
Right.
Why do I get to keep your $4,000?
Yeah, you don't.
No.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so in my eyes, I'm an adult, you're an adult. Yeah. If you want to buy a car, I believe you.
Yeah. I mean, you can think about it like a purchase commitment.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe if you put down X amount of dollars, you might not buy this car.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah,
it's just all in it's bad faith.
Deposits are weird.
Yeah.
It's not like you're ordering a car. Right.
No. Yeah. He's talking about a certified pre-owned GT4. And that's a hot car.
Sure.
And I understand the dealership not wanting to hold it, right? We can't hold cars.
Right.
But if you tell me you're buying it, I'm going to believe you.
Right. And if you back out or change your mind, then that's up to you. I mean, that's how sales are. But
that's my 2 cents on that.
I wonder where his question originated from.
He's got there's a couple dealers he's been talking to about GT4s.
Sure.
He wants to fly in, put eyes on it before he finalizes the purchase, which I think is fair.
That's kind of a must.
We sell 70 or 80% of our stuff out of state.
Sure.
Of that, 1 in 20 1 in 50 people come in.
Sure.
I bet we get 2 clients a month from out of state that actually fly in.
First time clients.
To come in to visually look at a car that they're buying.
Right.
The rest is up to you and me to inspect the car and disclose the car appropriately.
Right.
And I love it when people come here because then you get to meet them. You get to go on a test drive.
Sure.
You know, I sold a Spider to a guy in the Bay Area. He flew in, looked at the car, and said, "All right, perfect, I'll take it." I was like, "Well, can we go drive it? There's good roads back there. Can we just?"
Yeah.
And he didn't even want to do that, but we did, and it was totally worth it.
Right.
But a lot of people don't do that. If I'm buying something that's $100,000 or $200,000, I probably want to go see it and touch it.
Yeah, probably should. Unless it's unless it's your 10th car, right?
Yeah.
You're kind of used to just the revolving door.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I think I don't know that there is such a thing as a non-refundable deposit.
Just in general.
Yeah. Like so put it on a credit card and then tell Visa that.
Yeah, you dispute it.
Yeah. Visa's got your back.
Right.
So I don't know. Mitch, we have a black GT4 that's going through the CPO. I don't think we can CPO. I don't think we can CPO it because it has aftermarket brakes.
It does. And a roll cage.
And a roll cage. Yep. That excludes it. But there may be some pieces from that car that were on. Was that Lonnie's?
It was on Lonnie's.
That raced up Pikes Peak.
Yeah.
With Lonnie Unzer.
Yeah, that's actually a great story.
She had an off.
Yep.
Was it at Engineers?
Cog Cut.
Yep. Which is very tippy top.
Pretty close.
Of Pikes Peak. She went off and crunched the front end of the GT4 Club Sport.
Pretty extensively.
And we were supporting her.
Yep.
So the whole front end was toast.
Yeah, from the firewall forward needed corrective measures.
Yes,
and some other stuff underneath.
And that was at qualifying. Well, it would have been one of the practice days.
It was the optional day.
Perfect. Yep. So it's a Saturday. Everything's closed. Basically, you can't get anything. The race is on Sunday.
Yep.
We need parts.
Yep.
Her dad finds the parts at Porsche Motorsport,
something like that,
in LA.
Yeah, we all made phone calls
and had to go get them. We couldn't have them shipped, so he drove overnight.
Yeah, it wasn't her dad. It was a volunteer.
Okay,
but sure.
But yeah, so somebody drove there.
Yeah, overnight.
Yep. Picked it up, drove overnight back.
Yep.
And then 2 of the guys from our body shop, we actually had them on after this to kind of talk about their Herculean effort to put that all back together. Yep. And then with like 12 hours to go, Jason got the car and had to reset it up for racing.
Yeah.
But there was like one piece missing that we couldn't find.
Yeah,
so we put out an
APB
to all of our customers. And the guy that owned the black GT4 that we are going to have available said, "Yeah, you can borrow it from my car.
Use whatever parts.
Yeah, whatever you need."
And the funny thing is we offered to replace all those parts with new parts.
Yeah.
And he said, "No, I want I want the parts back in my car that have run Pikes Peak, just as kind of a tribute to the whole effort and whatnot." So yeah, we put the car back together when the event was over, and that client, God, that was a while ago. Was that 4 years ago? Three
probably,
years ago?
Probably 4. I think that was Lieberman's year, right?
Yeah, they all kind of blend together.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Now, because that would have been the Cayman Island year.
The
year after that. Now, well, it was Lonnie's first year.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I'd have to look. But regardless, that car was a great, fun toy for that client. And what did he move on to? Did he?
I don't know.
Yeah, he got something else, I assume. But yeah, so we're going through the process, and it won't be CPO'd, but we'll go through and do all the maintenance and make sure it's good to go. And then whoever wants a good, fun, streetable, trackable, really capable GT4.
It's so good.
Yeah, so that one's set up really well. I've done the alignments on that car, did a lot of the roll cage work to it. One of our other technicians did the brake setup on it. So it has AP racing brakes, if I remember right.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yep.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, so it'll be available soon. So anybody who's in the market for a beautiful black.
Yep. Mitch
GT4.
wants one that's silver with buckets. So
okay,
we'll find it.
Yeah,
it'll be there.
that's readily available, really. I mean, we saw a lot of silver ones.
The problem is a lot of that stuff in the like, I don't know, $80,000 to $200,000 range has just been gobbled up.
Yep.
And is in long-term homes now.
Right.
And you know, they'll come up, they do, but it's not like, you know, we'd have 5 or 6 of them at a time.
Correct.
And
not so much.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Yep. Those are being held close to the chest, as they should be.
Yep.
But
agreed.
Mitch, if you want advice on any of the cars, you can always text me. 612-961-2381 is my cell. Happy to, you know, pull build sheets or Carfaxes or whatever you want, or even just be a sounding board. So yeah, go find a cool car.
Yeah.
We do want to buy your 718, even yours, Dan, with 109,000 miles.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yep.
That's actually the one I want. That's pretty cool. You mentioned meeting some technicians while you were at the race.
Yeah, one primarily that was a Porsche tech.
And what that kind of prompted in my head, kind of wondering a little bit about how your job has changed. Like, how long have you been wrenching on cars professionally?
Yeah, since the early 2000s professionally. Yeah. And it progresses, but you want to make sure it doesn't change too much, because that way you don't lose sight of why you're doing it. So the motorsport thing I always try to keep very close to me. Has it changed? Of course. You know, doing prototyping and cars that are operated by people in environments that are detrimental to their health, and building them so they'll survive. Did that for a lot of years. High performance stuff.
What do you mean by that? Like talking Pikes Peak cars?
No.
And things like that, or what?
No, like cars that are primarily black with some kind of armor plating in them, you know, stuff like that, or high horsepower cars.
So like you built the Beast?
Not so much. Cars that you couldn't really tell had a lot of modifications to it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Little tidbits.
That's cool.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
How do you do that? Like what does it take to?
Yeah. So I have a BMW
that we want to armor.
Yeah.
You have to decide what you want it to survive, and then either you can put a full cell in it, like a ballistic protection cell that would take up quite a bit of the interior space, or you could put, you know, Kevlar plating and you know, ballistics in it that would keep it from. Yeah.
If I wanted to drive through Crimea,
not in a BMW,
what would you select for me?
Probably one of the pre-built armored United Nations trucks.
Yeah, but no, you have to buy it in Motor City.
We'd go get you a big Mercedes-Benz.
Okay.
And we'd
like a G-Wagon or a GLS,
something
or
a little
S-Class?
faster and a little low key. Maybe an S-Class.
Okay.
Yep. A big bodied, high horsepower sedan with enough entry and exit room in case you had to get in and out of it. So something with big doors.
Did you see we had a client with a green, must have been a 25, like S63. Did you see that? Oh my God. Wow.
Was it out front here?
For like a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Yes.
That the day the Maybach was here too, wasn't it? All about the same time. Wasn't there a bunch of weird cars?
There was like an old Maybach that came through.
I think that was right around the same time.
It could have been.
Yeah.
That car, I got it. Like I sat in that thing. I was like, man, I could be a rich old man.
Yeah.
And just drive this suburban size 4-seater.
Yeah.
And be
at 180 plus miles an hour all day long if you wanted to in the right environment.
Yeah.
Yep.
I get it.
Yep.
Okay.
They all have their place, right?
Yeah, I like those.
The trick is to stay out of countries that you don't need.
Yeah, no, I did. That was just, I didn't know you built armored tanks. That's cool.
Yeah, it's not really something we did very much. And a bunch of my coworkers specialized in that aspect primarily. I did a lot more of the high speed stuff, but that was all kind of part of where some of those were going. interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, careers change. But you don't want to lose sight on what you enjoy. Otherwise, you go, oh yeah, I did this for 25 years and I don't enjoy it anymore, right? So you don't want to ever lose that kind of sparkle. So that's why I still do all the high performance cars, motorsport cars, heavily focus on Pikes Peak. Do events outside, go to tracks, provide support, you name it.
On the daily, maybe not even for you because you get to do a lot of stuff that you brought to the store, I guess, maybe there's that GTI that you've been working on. That feels like a you project, not a Porsche Colorado Springs project, right? So, where the store is doing it and that's where we're doing it, but that wouldn't be here if you weren't here.
You have a lot of clients follow you.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. And so, but how do you think the industry has changed for a technician? Our onboard diagnostic stuff, right? The OBD2 port, that was there when you started.
Yep.
Do computers answer more questions for you and tell you what's wrong, or do you still have to kind of sort through? I feel like tuning a carburetor and getting that right back in the day, there was probably something you could set on top to tell it how much air was sucking through. But now you can look at it, what's the O2 reading coming out the back and how do I change the timing and type in some keys?
I think to really simplify that, they're all tools. The tools might be basic. They might be super analog or they might be fully digital like a laptop or a tester. I think how you use them can make your job more efficient, but nothing is going to say, here's the problem, here's how you fix it. So you can plug in, get your data, analyze it, and do comparative analysis quicker for the most part, as long as it's a system that's monitored.
Sure.
Than having to have the know-how per se of a client coming in and saying, hey, I drove to 7,000 or 8,000 feet and experienced this. And if you've been in the industry long enough, you can go okay, we need to set up carburetor differently. It could be ABCD, where on a modern car, it's going to be 1,000 different potentials, right? So is the computer going to help you do that quicker or more efficiently? Absolutely. And with emissions, you have to know why the car is built the way it is and how it's supposed to perform. And all those systems have to be monitored. And if it's one little valve stuffed up inside of a wheel well in the back of the car and your check engine light comes on, you got to use a laptop to say, I know it's not these 50 other things. It points me in the direction to this part of this system.
Interesting.
And then you could take the code or, the fault parameter and kind of evaluate what that potentially could be. And it's not always cut and dry. And sometimes you make a choice and you find out that, it was part A instead of part B. But that's how things have changed. Yeah, so technology isn't that much different. It's just more in depth.
I like the comment about a tool that made sense to me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's
a more advanced
new tool that I can use to answer the questions I need to about the health of the car.
Right.
Yeah. That's cool. How'd you get invited up to the F.A.T. Ice race?
So a good friend of the dealership, been a long time client, was also a Porsche employee basically and whatnot. He, Jeff Swart, said, hey, here's what we're doing. Come up. So he basically said, this is the plan for this year. It includes, there was, 10 things on that list and one of them happened to be the F.A.T. Ice race. So
cool.
Yeah. So it was a hop on a plane and come up and get the car out of the truck and set it up and run it.
You also help him with the Colorado Hill Climb Championship.
Yep.
More work or less work prepping for that as compared to ice race?
Almost no prep for ice. We did take the water out because we usually typically only run.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Because freezing conditions, right? So you don't want your radiators to freeze or your coolant lines to freeze. So we actually just put antifreeze in that car. That was the primary prep. We did some annual prep since it was here, some oil changes, some fluid changes, and some filters and, the normal stuff. But that was the primary change, is to make sure it wouldn't freeze. Because typically when we race in the mountains, does it get cold? Sure. But for CHCA, I mean, it goes from 115 degrees when we're running on the western side of Colorado in the middle of the summertime to snowing and freezing, but not hard freezing up on Monarch.
Sure.
So that was pretty much the only change. Is it more set up for ice? No. Does the car seem a more strenuous operating condition on ice? Absolutely not, because it's so short. When we run CHCA, we run in 2 classes. So we're running twice as much as if you ran 1 class. So over a weekend, we're going to run, say, 8 stages. It's the same stage, but you're going to run it once in 1 class, another, and you have 4 per day in a single class, but we double it. So we run about 8. So over a weekend, you're running all day Saturday, and then you have your final competitive racing on Sunday. The car is always at the rev limiter. It's always being hammered because the road is just super rough. So there's a lot more constant checks, tightening things, unbending things, correction. You go through wheels and tires all the time. I mean, we damage a wheel every day when we do that. It's very detrimental to the car. But the 997 chassis is extremely robust, and the modifications, which are semi-minimal, suspension's completely different, minus the uprights, and there's skid plates underneath that car, and some reinforcement in the front end to keep the radiators in that car in case you nosed into a dirt berm or had a big hard impact. But aside from that, it's just a really robust cup car that takes a beating all day long and just keeps asking for more. So CHCA, dirt rally, that's pretty strenuous on a car. The gearbox is probably the most temperamental thing. So you're going to be rebuilding it probably once a season, and I'm in it to do simple repairs inside the gearbox probably twice a year on average. So do you experience any of that on ice? No.
Yeah, like you were saying, like a 30, 40-second run?
Yeah.
So
yeah, well, that's a quick car, right? So that can be a competent rally car with good grip, or 1,000 horsepower Baja truck, or a King of the Hammers vehicle. There's cool stuff out there like that.
Yeah.
So those are the quick ones. The slow ones that don't have any grip or are hyper expensive and you don't want to damage it, they're like a minute and a half.
Okay.
So pretty big differential.
That's a big change.
Yeah.
But on Hill Climb Championship, those are like 4 or 5 minute stages, something like that.
Can be. Yeah.
So that's a little different sort of beat down.
Yeah. You're actually using machine quite extensively on those.
I had so much fun at Dirtfish. I would love, just to figure out how to be able to do something like that on the more regular, and it's basically make more money, John. But
CHCA specifically is very grassroots. It's super laid back. You could build your car in your garage, and as long as it passes a tactical safety inspection, bring it out and run it.
There you go.
And, tires don't have to be super expensive. We run a modified rally tire. It's pretty run-of-the-mill tire. We have to order them. But, I mean, there's guys there's a young kid who's probably 16 or 17 maybe, and he's got a Starlet. And it's just this little compact, micro-durable car that doesn't make any power, but he's having a great time.
Yep.
So, the more the merrier, and anybody, you could build your Volvo, and you would ruin the Volvo.
I could not, but I would be fine with that.
It would do so well.
If you could build the Volvo to do that, I would be in.
Yep.
That sounds.
You would have a blast.
Yeah, I know.
Guys run Subarus all the time, old Audis, big 800 horsepower V8 open wheel tube chassis cars. I mean, cool stuff.
Sliding on dirt is just
it's all slip all
so
the time.
good. It's just so good.
Yep.
I feel like the way to do it would just be to buy one.
They do come available. Yeah.
Right? Somebody's had their fun with it, and you probably have to spend just as much time and money putting it back together as you would building
Not necessarily. We actually had a fellow competitor, and he usually runs. It's an Evo or something like that. I can't remember. It's probably not an Evo, but he had some mechanical issue. And he made a phone call to somebody he happened to know who had an old Camaro that was fully built previously for running it and bought it for next to nothing.
Yeah.
And he brought it and ran it on Sunday and raced it and did great.
See, now that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So keep your eye open
that's
and
the one.
Find somebody else's race car that doesn't maybe need 100% rebuild and is still drivable. Can always improve.
Yeah.
And just go run it.
Look at me and tell me I'm going to be competitive and I'll laugh at you. So my race car also does not need to be competitive. It's like, I just want
the competitive mindset is, are you having fun?
Yeah.
Is it enjoyable?
Exactly.
You know,
and is it safe?
Am I faster, slower? Who cares?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But
that sounds like a good stretch goal.
You should come join us at least for
I need to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a bunch that are semi-local, you know, a couple hours from here.
Yeah. No. Do I need to go Saturday, Sunday, or
nope.
So just come out
Saturday. You'll see more.
So I need to take a day off.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me know which day and I'll do it.
Yeah. We'll do the local
fam.
one. Yeah.
I will. We'll glamp it up. I'll bring all of my stadium seating chairs. And,
everybody else does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll make that happen. That sounds
folding
like a good
chairs
time.
and bring a barbecue and have a good time and get covered in dust and dirt. But I think you'd enjoy it.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Well, your wife just got back to town.
Yeah.
And
she was on
you
a
haven't seen her in a week. So I think we might call it early.
Sounds good.
Really appreciate the time.
Sure.
If there's anything you want to plug. I had nothing I want to plug either.
Yeah, no. I just think, if you're a car person and it's a lifestyle and it's a choice and you enjoy it and there's a reason why you do it, and most of your friends are probably going to do that, and come down to the store and meet some people that you haven't met before, or just join us in what we do on the daily. Yeah, I'll just plug the store. I mean, it's amazing what we do from a service side and a sales side. There's a reason why we're here. So, and celebrating 20 years.
That's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
how long have you been here?
Almost 10. Yeah. So when I was hired by Joe, I actually worked at an offsite facility, which really just specialized in motorsport cars.
Yep.
And the reason why we did that is kind of keep them away from this side of things, where it was, the services, some of the classic stuff in the sales, where, the race cars, the heavily modified cars, we're kind of doing it, off the radar per se. So yeah, almost 10 years in October. So getting there.
That's awesome.
Yep.
I'm September and it'll be 9?
Yeah.
8, 9. I think it'll be 9.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
Yep.
All right. Well, on that bombshell,
let's wrap it up.
Thank you, Jason. If you guys need any, I don't know, support on anything, this is a great guy. You can call me and I'll beg him for answers to the questions.
Yep.
But we'll see you next week with some kind of show. Maybe we'll talk about some cars. Like Dan said, if you have a 718, we'd love to buy it from you. So then maybe we can sell it to Mitch.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you all very much.